Everyone, welcome to today's live. We're going to be chatting about Thailand versus Spain today. So I'm going to take some minutes here and get connected with Lauren, the ambassador for Thailand, and then we will start our talk today. So just give me a few seconds here to get her into the live. Just getting Lauren. Let's see if we can get her in. Hey guys, good morning. If you want to put where you're joining in from in the comments, that would be great, just to kind of get to know each other a little bit. I'm just waiting for Lauren to join us in the chat. Good morning. Let's see if we can get her in here. All right. Let's see. Joining from Florida. Nice, nice. Orlando. Whoa, whoa, two people from Florida. That's cool. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's it going? It's late at night for you right now in Thailand, right?
Yes, it is 9 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Well, and if you don't mind, I guess we'll start. I can introduce myself in a bit here, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Lauren. I am teaching abroad in Thailand, of course. I am 22 years old. I grew up in Oklahoma and I just graduated from the University of Arkansas with my bachelor's in art history and wanted to take a gap year before pursuing my doctorate in art therapy. And here we are.
Nice, nice. Well, and my name is Rachel Dietz, and I'm a CIEE TEFL advisor. I work on the CIEE Teach Abroad and TEFL team. And one of the best parts of my job is getting to work with our ambassadors, just like Lauren. So thank you for joining us today, taking the time out of your day to share about your experience. I think we've seen in our Thailand group that we have, a lot of people asking about whether or not they should pick our program in Spain or if they should pick our program in Thailand. And so we're going to be addressing some of those topics today to give you guys a little bit of a comparison, but so you can also hear about Lauren's experience in Thailand. And so I have prepared some questions. If I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And I think, we can just start with kind of your journey to choosing Thailand as your place to teach abroad.
Of course. So it was my senior year, my last semester, I would say about February, and I was freaking out because I did not know what I wanted to do when I graduated college. And for some reason, I kept seeing Thailand come up in my life. They went on on The Bachelor, they went to Thailand for the fantasy suites. The Miss Universe organization was bought by a Thai woman. Thailand kept popping up on my For You page on social media. And so Thailand was definitely in the back of my mind. And my college roommate had studied abroad with CIEE and said such great things about the organization. And then I heard from a couple of other friends about this program that you can do with CIEE to go and teach abroad in Thailand. And so because my friend had studied abroad with CIEE, I personally did not do any research into the organization. I really went into it blindly and trusted the signs that I was seeing to go to Thailand. And that is kind of how I got here.
Nice. Yeah. 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 It's always good to dive. I feel like that happens with teaching abroad where you just kind of dive into it, right? I mean, I think it's a big life decision, but at the same time, it's kind of like you got to do it. It's like now or never, when it starts showing the signs in your life, like you're saying for Thailand, you got to take advantage of it while you can. That's awesome. So I guess another little bit of context. I'm actually a CIE alumni myself. I taught in Madrid, Spain. So we have kind of the two perspectives here. Lauren is currently on program, and I'm an alumni from the program in Madrid. And so I guess to kind of answer that question for me and how I ended up choosing Madrid was just because I was a Spanish major in college, and I was looking to continue developing my Spanish language skills. And teaching abroad seemed like the perfect balance to that, being able to incorporate myself into Spanish culture some more and learn some more, about Spanish in general, but then also be able to make an income while I'm living abroad. I think that's also really important too. So awesome. Well, let's keep going here. Let's see. Um, this is a good one. What is the most challenging thing about teaching abroad so far?
I was thinking about this earlier today. I would have to say the communication style in Thailand, it is very, very different in America. I personally am a very type A personality. I like to be told exactly what's going to happen, have my nice, neat, organized schedule. And in Thailand, it is not like that. Today, I showed up for 2 classes. There was no class. You just kind of have to really go with the flow. It takes being adaptable to a whole nother level because in the Thai culture, it's more indirect. And so you're not explicitly told what to do or how to do things. You really have to read between the lines a lot, and that has definitely been very hard for my personality type to adapt to, and getting used to being more flexible and really going with the flow in a whole new way that I've never done so before. You really have to be able to just have a plan A, B, C, and D in your back pocket at all times, and that's been a great challenge, but something that I know I'm going to be really thankful for in the future as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the same goes for the program in Madrid. I know that it's all about thinking your feet on your feet. I think that comes with the nature of being a teacher in general too.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely living in a different culture, you got to go with the flow. You might have expectations set in your mind of how things might work in your new position, but definitely being able to go with the flow is a good skill, not only for teaching, but like you're saying, that's something that is going to be useful in the workplace wherever you go, being able to be adaptable to any situation. So yeah, great. Um, let's talk about um, about money saving tips and budgeting in Thailand. How have you felt with kind of that topic in general since arriving in Thailand?
It has been a whirlwind, kind of a roller coaster in terms of budgeting. When you first come to Thailand and you first get to see the difference between Thai baht and the US dollar, you're like, oh my gosh, I can spend everything. I went to 7-Eleven and I bought all this food because I was like, this is so, so cheap. I can buy 10 things that are only $5 where that would be $50 in the US. And so I kind of overspent in the beginning because I was just amazed by the currency difference, and quickly realized that I am not making a US salary, I am making a Thai salary. And that really helped me change my perspective on things. I'm still constantly, every time I go to the grocery store, looking on my phone to do the exchange rate for what it is in USD, thinking about when I come back to the US, how much money do I want to have saved up? And so that has definitely been a learning curve, getting used to that. I think really getting into your mind of you are not making a US salary, you're making a Thai salary. How would a Thai person spend and allocate their money out for the month or however often it is that you get your paycheck? Has definitely been a learning curve, but that is my biggest budgeting tip, is just getting into a different mindset.
Yeah, the conceptualizing baht versus the US dollar, I feel like that is very difficult. It is a mindset change for sure. To kind of think like, okay, maybe the grocery store isn't going to cost me $50 for 10 items, but, or maybe even 5 items nowadays. um,
Yeah.
but, um, but you are making a different salary. I think a lot of folks, get a little scared about, like the number that they hear when they translate it into US dollars.
Mhm.
But it is true that the cost of living is much different outside of the US. And so doing a bit of research, I think, into that ahead of time is always a good move. I think the same is true for Spain. Obviously, the monthly salary is a lot less than it is in the U.S. You get €1,000 a month, but depending on how you're budgeting, what your rent might cost, definitely possible. I was able to do pretty well in €1,000 a month. I was also doing some private tutoring on the side for some extra cash to make above the €1,000 a month so that I could go out with friends or travel and whatnot. But definitely doable. I think it's just something that you have to be very conscious about, right? You do want to make a budget and stick to it. to be successful, and then also have some savings, right? Did you have any savings before you came, before you went to Thailand as well?
I certainly did. You definitely do have to have a good amount of money saved up when you get here, especially because you're not going to get paid for quite a while after you first land in Thailand.
Yes, yeah. And the same is true in Madrid. But I think one of the biggest differences for budgeting in particular is that you have your rent paid for, right? Would you want to speak a little bit more about the benefits of your work contract?
Yes, I think honestly, having my housing paid for in Thailand is the reason why I chose Thailand over Spain
Hmm.
because it is so nice that my housing is included in my paycheck. Not only is it I don't have to pay for my rent, but also housing was provided for us. So actually live on campus. It is very dorm style. It's giving back to my freshman year of college, the kind of living situation that I'm in.
Hmm.
And that has definitely been a great help in terms of budgeting, having that paid for in my contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone just asked a question. Let's see. How can you get in contact with current teachers to find housing in Spain? So that there's lots of different ways to do that. If you're a part of the CIE program, you get connected with people. Well, on any program really, you get connected with other teachers, um, that are going on the same program as you, who are potentially looking for housing if you're going to Spain. But yeah, that would be kind of what you get as a part of the CIE program. Otherwise, I think a big tip that I have, and you can give your opinion on this, Lauren, but I think Facebook groups are still pretty important. I think there's lots of good information that is shared on Facebook groups, more so than other social media. So that's always a good place to take a look if you are looking outside of the resources that CIE provides. Great. Well, let's go to the next question. Oh, this is a good one. Did you travel alone? And is it easy to make friends in Thailand?
I did come here technically alone. I knew a couple of people who were going to be here as well, and I was thankfully placed in the same school as they were. So that has been great. But I did like in terms of I did came here by myself and made the decision to come here by myself, and it definitely has been. It's hard to say because I know my experience is my experience, but everyone's experience here is so different depending
Mhm.
on what school you get placed at and what region you are in. I have the most American teachers in all of the program at my school. So there's 9 American teachers at my school. Some people only have one American teacher at their school. And so in terms of that, it is just varies so much on how easy it is to make friends in Thailand because sometimes you'll have another English speaker with you and sometimes you won't. I'm very thankful that I do. And that has definitely been a great help. But I think Thai people in general are so excited that you were there to come and to teach. They will open you with loving arms, and it is very, very easy to make friends with the locals as well, even if you can't speak their same language as first, as you are getting to learn Thai and theirs you are getting to learn English. They want to be with you, they want to hang out with you. You're going to get invited to a million things, so do not let the fear of if you're going to make friends prevent you from going here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of the unique things about the CIE program is that you do get connected with so many people. I feel like in as an adult, like after you graduate from college, sometimes it can be hard to make friends. If you're at home, if you move to a different city, you really have to put in a big effort to make a lot of friends. But I felt like as a part of the CIE program, it was pretty easy. You kind of get dropped off in another country, and you're surrounded by other people that are doing the same thing as you. I know Thailand, there's also orientation as well as in Madrid. And that was a good place, a good opportunity to get to know people. And then we have Facebook groups, like I said before, within CIEE to get to know people that are also on the same program going at the same time as you. And then, like you're saying, like the cultural itself, like I think I've heard, I haven't been to Thailand, unfortunately. It's on my bucket list, but I've heard many good things about Thai culture and how accepting and open that they are. And I think the same thing goes for Spanish people as well. I think Madrid is a very international city, so there's lots of opportunities to connect with just tons of people. I think either Spain or Thailand, really you can't go wrong in terms of making friends if you decide to go alone, which I did as well. I did not have anyone else that was coming with me, so I went it alone and definitely did not have issues making friends while I was teaching abroad. So that's awesome. Well, I guess there was one question about resources that is provided by the program. Do you want to talk a little bit about like the orientation, like the arrival process in Thailand?
Yes, the arrival process I was very pleased with. I was very, very scared coming to the airport. The Bangkok airport is huge. It is massive, and going through immigration, it can be very, very intimidating. And then as I walk out, I am met with CIE people immediately, and it was so, so nice knowing that, okay, like I'm here, I'm being taken care of. I got in a car, they drove me to the hotel. It was a very, very nice hotel. I was all very, very impressed with the arrival pickup moment. Orientation, it's, I feel I got frustrated in orientation only because it was so general. And at first, I didn't understand that. I was just like, be straight up with me. I want to know what it's going to be like. What is my day to day going to look like? Tell me the details. That's what I want to know. That's what I'm curious about. But being in it now and hearing other people who are in different regions of Thailand and their experiences, I understand that better because everyone's experience is so, so different. So, in terms of resources, it is very generalized,
Mm-hmm.
but that is only because there's no way that you can prepare every single person for what their experience is going to be because everyone is so, so different. It
Mm-hmm.
really do have to just get into the mindset of you're going to make mistakes and you cannot prepare yourself for every circumstance, and learning to be okay with that and roll with emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting because I mean, when you think about like, oh, I'm going to Thailand, it's going to be the same as someone else who might have gone. It's so true that all experiences are different. That's something that you want to prepare for. I think CIE does a really good job of trying to prepare for all those situations
Mm-hmm.
and kind of giving you a heads up on what to expect. But at the end of the day, it is really important to make sure that you are flexible, like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that you keep an open mind, know that things are going to change. The adjustment period after you arrive, you want to give grace to yourself with the different change or the different changes, and just know that the first couple weeks will be a little bit more difficult, but that it will get easier. Because I'm sure, are you enjoying your time now? Like, because you've been there for a couple of months now. So kind of how has your day to day changed? Are you feeling like in the motions of it now? Are you feeling like in a good routine?
I am definitely in a good routine. At school, we've had a lot of different activities lately, and so it's kind of been hard to stick to my class schedule. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of fun things going on, but that's fun too. I feel like I've definitely adjusted to the food, to the way of life, to my little life here,
Yeah.
and making the most of it.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Well, okay, so I'm just looking at some more of our questions here. I guess part of the preparation process, and you and I have talked about this before, but is potentially getting TEFL certified. Getting TEFL certified is not required for teaching in Thailand, but you did decide to get TEFL certified. So if you want to shed some light on why you decided to get TEFL certified and then how that has kind of impacted your experience so far in Thailand.
I think for me, the TEFL was something that really helped me get into the right mindset of being a
Mhm.
teacher. I had no prior teaching experience before coming to Thailand and was a bit nervous about how was I going to do, and am I going to be prepared enough when I first step into a classroom. And that is why I wanted to do the TEFL. I think now, because I teach
Mhm.
kindergarten, the TEFL is great for if you're teaching older students because it's more goes into gerunds and participles and how to go about those kinds of things that you don't really think about as a native English speaker because it's things that you hear growing up, not necessarily things that you break down like how you do in a language class. I'm teaching the ABCs and how to say and how to pronounce words. And so when you're working with younger students, I think that the TEFL is better if you're teaching older students because it gives you more of a groundwork for how to get more in depth into the English language.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am a TEFL advisor. I talk about TEFL all the time. I help make people make decisions. I think what's really important is just thinking about kind of, what you can do to prepare if you feel like the TEFL is going to give you that extra, boost in terms of confidence. I think, like you were saying, it helps you get into that teacher mindset if you don't have a ton of experience teaching before, or you want to be able to answer some of those grammatical questions I feel like students throw at you. The TEFL is really good at that. It also covers things like classroom management and curriculum development, that kind of thing. And so, it's just an important thing that if you want to prepare for it, it's there for you. Of course, if you are confused about TEFL, not really sure, we can always have a chat. You can always message the TEFL inbox. All of our contact information is in our link in bio. But yeah, it's a kind of personal decision. So that's awesome that you decided to get TEFL certified. I'm sure that it will come in handy, like you said, with all the other skills that you develop teaching will come in handy later on in your career, if you decide to go further into teaching or otherwise. Sounds like you want to go into art therapy, which
Yes,
is super cool.
yes, yeah. My biggest dream in life is I want to open an art therapy and yoga studio.
That's so cool. Are you doing some yoga while you're in Thailand?
I am. So luckily my school is right next to a gym that has hatha yoga and vinyasa yoga classes that I've been going to, and it is so fun. I'm definitely getting a lot better at yoga. It's a different style than westernized
Mm-hmm.
yoga, as you can expect being in a Buddhist country. It's very traditional, but that has been so fun for me getting to do a deeper dive into the things that I'm passionate about
Yeah.
at home, and I can do it in Thailand, knowing that I want to do it back home as well. And I
Yeah.
think it's really important when you're going through this culture shock to find the things that you enjoy doing at home and how you can do that here as well to keep you sane.
Yeah, get into different hobbies for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's super important. I feel like a lot of people asked to kind of give a comparison with Madrid. People ask a lot about where they should be looking for housing and things like that. And I think Madrid is also very similar. Like you can find similar things that you might be doing at home, like yoga, or art classes, or maybe you like music, things like that. I always say that Madrid is a very like personality based city, and so you can kind of find whatever you're looking for. There's lots of different ways to incorporate your hobbies into your everyday life. And, for those of you that are thinking about going to Madrid versus Thailand, I think one of the important parts of the decision process is kind of seeing like, okay, what's Madrid all about? Like, is there a place that I could see myself doing my art classes, or maybe you're doing pottery, something like that, and just take a quick look into that and see kind of if you can continue to develop those hobbies and whatnot in Madrid and see if it's for you. So yeah, and I think one of the next questions I have for you, Lauren, is there a particular type of person that you could see really enjoying Thailand? Like you have gotten into yoga, that's something that you've been able to get into. Is there other opportunities out there that people might be interested or might be unique to Thailand?
I think that Thailand has a little bit for everyone. I think that for me, Thailand. What another thing that drew me to Thailand is that it is non-colonized.
Mhm.
One of the few countries that is not colonized. So the culture here is very different than anything that I've ever experienced before, and because of that, I think everything there's still a little bit of anything for everyone.
Mhm.
If you are interested in art, there's definitely art here. There's amazing hiking, amazing trails. Going with my fellow American teachers to go and travel on the weekends or for the breaks, we can still all find something that we are interested in. We're all very different personalities, and we all travel so well together because there's always something that we want to do in every place that we go to. I
Mhm.
think that really, no matter what your interests are, that Thailand can really accommodate to all of that because there are mountains and beaches and cities. So whatever area that you like to be in, whatever makes you happy, I think that you can definitely find that
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and so I know you've posted some on our TikTok account about your travels, but
Mhm.
how has that been? Have you really enjoyed the time that you've gotten to travel outside of work?
I have. For sure. So, like I said, I live on campus and it is a gated school. So sometimes I definitely feel like I'm in my little bubbles. It is so nice on the weekends to go out and to explore all of Thailand. I haven't been to too many places. I just went up north for a Christmas break and I loved the north. It was cooler there, which was so nice. It is 97 degrees every day, and where I am, a little bit south of Bangkok. So it's definitely nice to go out and explore and see all there is to see in Thailand. But I do feel like the more you see in Thailand, the more you're like, there's that much more to see because there's so much to do here and so many beautiful things to see, and most of which aren't on TikTok, that aren't on travel advisory. You have to just talk to the locals and say yes to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a lot of times with Spain, people are like, oh, well, it's in Europe. I can travel, around Europe. But I think even things that are local to Madrid or local to Spain in general, I think are super important to say yes to and to get to know because there's just so much out there that really isn't like you're saying. It's not on TikTok. It's not on Travel Advisor. It's not being advertised, but it's still more than worth your while. And so that's a part of being able to live in a foreign country for longer than, a couple of weeks, that you get to experience those kinds of things if you're willing to delve into the culture and get to know the locals and things like that. So super unique experience to teaching abroad in general. And for those of you picking Thailand or Spain, I think those are opportunities that you can take advantage of in both places. So uh, great. I think we have a couple minutes left. So I'll probably ask you one more question, then we'll kind of wrap up here. Um, but let's see. I guess, mm, 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 mm. Just looking for a good last question here. Uh, if someone else has already taught abroad somewhere else, like if they've already taught in Spain, what should they be aware of when deciding to continue their teaching journey in Thailand?
I think I would go back to the communication style
Yeah,
because you you don't know what's going to happen every day.
yeah,
How it was explained to us in orientation, it was we are at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of the information chain. That
yeah,
your advisors are going to be told and they're going to tell the other advisors, and you're on the bottom of the chain to find out information of if it's going to be class or not, if it's going to be a break, if it's going to be a party. And that is definitely very hard to get used to. I think especially if you come from the American school system where I think everything is a bit more laid out. You have a calendar and you stick to the calendar, and there's a lot of more communication that Thailand just doesn't have. And it's no ways one better than the other, but something to be aware of for sure when you're coming to teach here in Thailand.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great piece of advice. You're the last to know as a
Yeah.
foreign teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, which is even more important that you just kind of have to go with the flow. I mean, that's to be expected, right? You're there for a period of time, and you're there to help assist in teaching English, and so you got to roll with the punches in that regard for sure. Um, I think there was one question I'll ask, and then we'll kind of wrap it up again. So, how long did the process take prior to placement? I think this is really an important question for both Thailand and for Spain, but really any time you're thinking about teaching abroad, is that the process between when you decide that you want to teach abroad and when you actually get to depart for your country is usually about 6 to 12 months. That would be to give yourself a good margin of error. There might be some occasions where you could do it faster than that, but typically with everything that comes into play with your application process for CIEE, and then the preparations that we help guide you along. I think 6 to 12 months is usually a good timeline. The reason that we're having these lives now is because this is prime application season. So if you're wanting to teach abroad and you're thinking about it, definitely go ahead and check out the links that we have in our bio. If you're interested in Thailand, if you're interested in Spain, if you're interested in any of the other programs that we offer, please go ahead and look at the links in the bio because this is a really great time before our application deadlines are coming up, in February and March. So if you have questions about that, feel free to DM us. If you have questions for Lauren, of course, you are welcome to ask her as well. About her experience in Thailand and, usually application questions, you can always send that to our email is always a good option. And again, those links are in our link in bio. So I guess the last question is, what are your biggest pieces of advice for those that are wanting to teach abroad?
I think a big piece of advice, and this is just the advice that I live by in my day to day, I adopt the Nike logo to just do it. I think when you think too much about it, you will so get in your head. As I mentioned earlier, I really didn't put too much thought into my decision. I really signed up and I came. And I think if I had thought about it anymore, I probably wouldn't have because it is scary. I am in a country
Yeah.
that is so different from my own where I don't speak the language and I've never taught before. And I could not think too much about that because it is scary. I think you really just have to go
Mhm.
for it and understand that it will be difficult and to be prepared for the difficulty and to have that self-confidence in yourself that you know you'll handle whatever problems come your way when they come your way and to just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the perfect way to end it. Just do it. If you have questions or concerns, you can always come to us. I think, we work really hard to give resources to people who want to know more about teaching abroad. And so that's why we have Lauren here today to share her experience. Of course, the majority of people on the Teach Abroad and TEFL team have taught abroad themselves, including myself as a CIEE alumni. And so, yeah, we're here to share our experience to help you guys prepare and to feel confident in your decision to teach abroad. So thank you so much for joining us, Lauren. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys have questions, just let us know. So thank you guys, and we'll see you later.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you so much. All right. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.